People need to speak about what is going on in Sudan at the moment, because there is a humanitarian crisis of immense proportions and it's barely getting any media attention at all. If you go onto mainstream news platforms, you could be forgiven for thinking that there's absolutely nothing going on there. There was a brief period of time where Sudan was hitting the news, and that incidentally is when there were people from the West who were struggling to be evacuated from the country. When those people left, the news stories died down, but that doesn't mean that the suffering has ended. There has been a bloody battle being waged in cities across Sudan where the army are fighting a militia group called the Rapid Support Forces. They used to be called the Janjaweed Militia. They were responsible for genocides in Darfur, and they are again committing genocidal acts in Darfur as well as other parts of Sudan. They are effectively staging a takeover of the country. They are burning records of who owned properties. They are using rape as a weapon of war. They're killing people indiscriminately. I'm not saying that the army are necessarily the good guys, because they were also involved in a coup and oppressing the people. But of the two, they are the ones now who are kind of fighting slightly more in terms of trying to help the country and save the people from this oppression. But it's neither side is particularly admirable. Anyway, I wanted to explain that first of all, because this is sometimes painted by people as a civil war, or people say, tribal conflicts, you've got to just leave people to sort it out. The people are actually just victims of a power struggle between two armed groups, and these armed groups have international backers. They have countries that are funding them. I won't go into too much detail on that because I don't want to make claims that I can't back up necessarily, but I will link to people who can speak on that a little bit more. Basically, Sudan has a lot of resources. Sudan has strategic positioning as a sort of connection between Africa and the Middle East. It's got a lot of gold. It's got a lot of reasons why people want. It's a place where a lot of food can be produced. It's got a lot of reasons why international actors would want to have control over this country. And of course, the way that you can get control is by backing a military power that takes over. So it might even be that international actors are hedging their bets. But the result is the people of Sudan, who have peacefully protested and tried to get their freedom and to get democracy, are now being bombed, killed, chased from their homes, utterly displaced, and given very little support in terms of being able to cross borders, to be able to find safety. They are really suffering, and this was already a poor country. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about Sudan, and I'm speaking with some experience of living in the country. I lived there from 2020 to 2022, and I can honestly say Sudan is one of the most lovely countries in terms of people, the culture, how welcoming it is. I really felt so welcomed in Sudan. So I don't want you to be thinking this is some country that you shouldn't care about, somehow dismissing the people as, not worth being cared about, as it can sometimes feel when Sudan is so utterly forgotten about in the media. The people there are lovely, kind people, and they are suffering so much right now. And just like people are putting in an effort to raise awareness about Palestine, and it's fantastic that they are doing so, the same effort needs to happen for Sudan. So I'll share links below for people who can talk more about the situation and explain it in more detail. But yeah, we need to speak about Sudan, and that's why I'm speaking about Sudan right now, and I hope other people will do the same. One more thing to say, if you have any questions that you would like me to address, I can definitely try and make more videos, so please post any questions you might have, and I will try and address those in videos in the future, or direct you to someone else who has good information on that.